time. I mean, look at all the overdose deaths he was just talking about, in the United States that we see every year that just keeps getting worse and worse from prescription painkillers and heroin.
And to not leap too far off the subject, I think prostitution should be legalized too. For real. For real. I mean, sex feels good. Everybody wants to do sex. Why criminalize it? I mean, I know that the sex trade is a real issue, and that's something we have to fight and stamp out. And I think that decriminalizing prostitution would go a long ways toward stamping out that sex slave and people kidnapping their daughters.
Yeah, protecting those women.
If you have the woman and she's got health care and her and she's being taxed for being a prostitute, why do we have to have it criminalized other than morality?
Right,
Outdated morality.
That's what it is. It's morality.
Well, even though the United States does not officially have a religion, we're fairly Christian and fairly prudish when it comes to anything. Like, we don't show titties on TV.
Yeah.
If you go over to France, they have billboards with breasts on them.
They had the page 3 girl in England for the longest time. I think they stopped it now, but it used to be on page 3 of the newspaper in England. You could open it up and there would be breasts right there.
And what pimp would want to pay taxes to you? Come on,
no.
Well, there wouldn't be pimps.
They don't have pimps. That's
so
another
you're
thing.
putting a bunch of people out of business then.
That's another thing. There wouldn't be no pimps. They'll have to go get a job somewhere else, maybe construction.
Well, there's
Pimps would become business owners.
How are you going to fit that hat in her hard hat?
I don't know, man. That's gonna be tough.
Well, it would reduce things like sex crimes. It would reduce human trafficking. All these sorts of things if we, legalize prostitution. And it doesn't have to be like everywhere. Like, it could be like in Vegas where there's certain areas where prostitution is legal.
Divorce rates would go up.
No.
You think so?
No way. No
I
way. No way.
You don't think so?
Why would divorce rates go up?
Because it's going to be legal. Like, how tempting would it be to a guy
if
that's driving home and they're going past a brothel every day?
They're having
problems with their wife at home.
If a guy's going to step out on his marriage and his wife is not aware of it.
We're talking about the dude ranch. Like, how easy is that? It's like, right turn.
Their marriage is already rocky. If a guy's at that point, their marriage is already rocky. He already wants
but it's just making it worse.
Somebody else.
Is it though? Or
the wife looks at the credit card charges on the account, and it says, some brothel and Lakewood or something,
Ooh, Lakewood brothel.
No,
Ooh.
I can't agree with
all right,
that.
let's just say like Federal Way.
If the dude wants to sleep with prostitutes, their marriage already has issues, and it doesn't have anything to do with the prostitute.
Very true, but I'm just saying, if it was legal and the guy knew that he wasn't going to get booked for it, because nowadays I think isn't it like a sex offender almost?
Well, then
if you get hooked onto
it would be interesting to see what the divorce rates in Nevada are then. I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, because they have brothels everywhere. It's legal.
They have brothels in Nevada.
Yeah, that's where the dude ranch comes from, right?
And so if I would agree with you if the divorce rates in Nevada are way higher than anywhere else in the country.
When does the dude ranch open up?
I'm actually looking at Amsterdam because they've been around.
Oh yeah,
longer.
they have.
Yeah,
they have been
their
doing that quite a bit longer. Yeah.
They're in a union.
Because
right?
I read somewhere that
they're
prostitution was like the oldest trade in the world.
As soon as there was money, there was prostitution.
Yeah.
Duh.
Not even just money, dude. It's
food.
Food, lettuce,
Here's a
potatoes,
chicken.
Here's a
cow. Yeah.
You know what I mean.
Good.
I only lasted 15 minutes. Here's a half chicken.
15 minutes, man.
You better put it sweat. So what else have you done besides carpentry?
When I was slinging dope, I had a little job as a busboy, just so it looked like I did something every day. Went somewhere every day, but that didn't last too long though.
Clean dishes?
No, getting the dishes off the tables. But at one point in time, I just walked off that job. It's like, I don't need to be doing this. I got other ways to make money.
I think we all got that.
Yeah.
So, despite being in the penitentiary and having 2 girls from 2 different baby mamas, and now you have a 3rd child on the way, right? Fourth child on the way. Wow.
Congratulations.
Good job, man. Like, you still made that work.
Yeah. Well,
Man, hats off to you, man.
My 2 oldest daughters, it was just me and them for a long time, and I had so much trouble with my oldest daughter who started running away when she was 15. I was down there downtown Olympia, like looking for her, and a couple times I found her. One time I found her hanging out in front of a old school pizzeria, which is kind of a popular place in downtown Olympia. And I yelled her name across the parking lot, like, Kimberly, which I shouldn't have done, but I did, and she took off running across the street, traffic and everything. And so I took off running, and I ended up chasing her halfway across downtown Olympia, which isn't that big. And some dude saw me chasing her, and he started chasing me. And so I caught up to her, and I grabbed onto her jacket, and she's trying to get away. And then the dude comes up and starts hitting me in my face, punching me, and like punched me up against the chain link fence. And as he's punching me, I'm holding on to her. And I remember thinking that if I let her go, like, I may not ever get another chance to see her again. So I'm holding on to her and trying to fight this guy half-assed, and she slips out of my fingers. And I remember how I felt, and it's just a terrible feeling, because I'm looking at her running across the street while this guy's punching me. The dude thinks that he's saving her from, whatever. Then the cop comes and grabs her. The cops have been called at some point in time. Then the cops come over and start talking to me, and they end up arresting dude for interfering with parental rights and put him in the back of a car.
Wow.
And then the cops come and pat me on my back. They're like, "Right on, Dad. We wish more dads."
But he had no idea that's what was going on.
The dude didn't know. I mean, I was yelling at him that I'm her father, and the dude, he was all worked up at that point in time.
Right.
There's no talking to somebody.
Yeah.
But then by contrast, we got my younger daughter who made nothing but good grades. She was outgoing. She did sports, and now she's a Marine stationed in Okinawa. Graduated high school. She graduated high school at the top of her class, and it's just really weird that two children with the same upbringing, the same exact everything, went two totally different routes.
Wow,
You just never know what you're going to get when you have kids.
Right. Well, they had different moms, right? But even those of us with the same mom and dad, I mean, our siblings are completely different than each other, and we all have the same upbringing, right? It's almost predetermined. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but
when I would go to work in the morning, they would have to get up, get themselves ready, and get themselves off to school. And then when I would get home from work, I would cook the dinner, help them with their homework. We'd do our little family time, and then we just do the same thing. And we programmed like that every day.
All right, so I looked it up. Divorce rates in the U.S. are 40 to 50%, depending on the state in the U.S. Any guess on what Amsterdam, the Netherlands is?
What?
Any guesses?
60.
30. Lower.
15.
9.4.
Wow.
Ooh, nice. See, you gotta have that
Wow.
release, man. You gotta have that release. That's what I'm going
I
for
think
now.
maybe everybody's just happier over
You gotta
there.
get
I don't
out
know.
there.
So is that in the
and
pre-nut?
blow your steam.
Is that what you're saying in the prenup? Like, you can't divorce me if I go to the brothel. Like,
Well, do you think they're going home
That's
and they're
gonna-
telling their wife, "Hey, I stopped by the brothel on the way home,"
why are you late?
Why you got glitter all over your face?
I ate a brick of hash, and then I had a midget stripper.
Why you smell like vagina? I don't know. Leave me alone.
I never been married because I don't really believe in marriage. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no reason for that. There's no reason other than tax purposes and money purposes, buying a house or starting a business. There's no reason to be married. Like, we ain't put together like that. You know what I'm saying? We don't need to be monogamous to be happy. And as long as everybody understands that, then we're all good.
Well, it depends on the person too, though. Because there are a bunch of religious folk out there that, that's what they do. And then some people just need the title.
And a lot of the religious folks are the
last
ones
name.
out there cheating on their wives and get hooking up with the prostitutes.
Well, they're human, just
Sure.
like the rest
They're
of us. I
human.
mean, everybody's human.
So what you're saying is being human doesn't necessarily mean being monogamous.
Right.
So I heard a podcast the other day, and they interviewed an older lady. Like, she had to be in her 60s or 70s, and she was talking. She wrote some sex book, and I can't think about it off the top of my head, but
Dr. Ruth?
I don't know. Honestly. Anyway, she came up with like in the future, what she's saying, like 100 years or something like that, monogamous relationships are not going to exist anymore. Like that's what she was saying. Because I mean, you can see it from like
So you're
our
saying I'm
parents.
100 years ahead of my time. I like that.
Maybe you might be futuristic. You know?
Maybe she was just making excuses to cheat on her husband.
No, dude, she's old. You know, but she's seen the times. You know, she's speaking from experience. She's wise. You know, in the sex game and everything. And so she was saying like, back in the day, you had kids to keep up with the farms and all that, and all the work around the house.
Yeah,
you
that
know,
makes sense.
and then nowadays, or like 50 years ago, you were just having kids to pass the name down, like you had to take care of them, and then nowadays, like you're just having kids.
Yeah.
Like some people don't even want to have kids.
Yeah.
You know, they just want to be single adults.
The death rate amongst newborns was a lot higher back then, so you had to have a lot of kids in order to.
It's true, but then you also had, because of summer vacation, that's why you had summer vacations.
Yeah.
Take care of the farm.
Yeah.
You had to work.
The way I look at it is, as long as both the husband and the wife, or husband or wife or whatever, as long as they're both in agreement that we're not, it isn't a monogamy thing, but we're together because we enjoy each other's company, because we care about each other.
Right. And
then you can work from there.
That's what she was saying, is that in 100 years, the relationship between not technically husband and wife, but like, you know,
two people who get along and enjoy each other's company,
they're gonna have relationships with other people just to keep it entertaining.
As long as you don't catch the feelings.
Or disease.
Somebody's always going to catch the feelings.
There's going to be herpes and gonorrhea still, probably. I mean, unless they come out with a pill
no,
or
I'm
something
talking about catching
it,
feelings. Like, you know, what happens to your booty call girl after 9 months?
I don't care about feelings, man. I don't got feelings.
Always catches the feelings.
You're going to...
You always switch them up by 9 months, just in case.
You're going to date the kid. Like, wait a minute. Nope, that wasn't me. That was 9 months ago.
We work with a guy who, I won't say his name, but he would break up with a girl before Thanksgiving, and he wouldn't date another chick until after Valentine's Day.
Which makes sense.
So that way he didn't have to buy her anything, he didn't have to take her to family, stuff, none of that. He didn't have to buy her any presents.
I like it.
Yeah.
But then you got to keep the birthday
But
in mind.
that's one cold winter, man.
You got to keep the birthday in mind.
That is one cold winter.
Yeah.
So I pulled a leg muscle booty popping at my gay brother's wedding.
Right on, yeah. Keep it going.
Which leg muscle?
So, how many? You said you had 3 brothers?
I got 3 brothers.
Okay, which one's gay?
My little brother Arthur. He's
Smallest.
He's gay.
Littlest.
Younger. Yeah, he's a year younger than me.
So he's the smallest?
He's the, I guess.
Well, not smallest, I'm sorry.
But you're the whitest?
Youngest. I'm the
Youngest.
whitest.
You're the whitest.
I'm in the middle. We're like an Oreo. No lie, we're like a real life Oreo.
Speaking of monogamous relationships, again.
My brother and his partner have been together for 7 years, and they just got married. They got a beautiful home in Napomo, California, and they're both professionals. My new brother-in-law, is that what you call brother-in-law?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sister-in-law, brother-in-law.
So my new brother-in-law is he's a botanist. He designs flowers that go to floral places all over the country. And then my little brother is a program manager at Google.
He designs?
Program manager. Oh, the botanist?
Flowers.
Yes. He goes to South America and he picks 2 different flowers that are 2 different colors, and then he creates a color that doesn't exist naturally in nature, and then he sells that color all over the country. He has like 30 patents on 30 different flowers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He
knows how to
Really?
grow stuff from
So you can put patents on flowers?
Yeah.
On 2 combinations of flowers.
If you make the flower, they got patents on everything. They got patents on strawberries, dude. The USC in California, I think it was USC. Which college is in Riverside, California? Anyway.
I went to community college, so.
You want me to Google this?
No idea.
Anyways, they owned the patent on strawberries for a long time. They had a monopoly on that stuff.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
On all strawberries?
No, well, strawberries, the big ones in the supermarket, those are
juicy.
GMOs.
Right.
Yeah,
The one
like
they
you
use
see
with
wild
cream.
strawberries, they're tiny.
Tiny.
Yeah, so they took a bigger, less flavorful strawberry and blended it with the smaller, more flavorful strawberry, and now you get the strawberries you see in the grocery
Oh, so
store.
that's when
The
you get the
medium
giant,
size.
triple
The medium.
nippled.
Yeah.
No, medium. Just medium.
Well, if you come up with something like that, it's the same with like pills, medical pills or whatever. They give you 7 years where you can own it, so you can make all that money that you invested in trying to